Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. I hope everyone's doing well. Okay, and so you've heard my introduction. I'll simplify it as well because there's too much technical information I realize in that introduction. So I'm basically an educationist, just like you, and I believe that we have teachers over here. Yeah, how many of you are teachers? Wow, that's good. Anybody else who's from the school leadership role, like coordinators? Okay, good. And principals, if any? No? Okay, so teachers and coordinators. All right. So welcome everyone. I am happy to be here before you presenting on a topic which is close to my heart. Being a technology person and having a software engineering background, I am very much fascinated, attracted, and driven by technology. And I understand because I have been a teacher and then I have entered into entrepreneurship, having my own startup company. And startup is just like an adventure. You're trying to do something, okay? And it's like a small business. I also, in my current role, head the senior school at Haq Academy. And so I'm sure that you have heard about Haq Academy. So yeah, I am heading Haq Academy as well. Can you bring up the presentation? Thank you. There is something on the chat as well. This one, who present? Yeah, present. Yeah. Okay. Next slide. Yeah. So basically, I've got a lot of roles, and I will quickly touch upon these. I'm a mother of 2 teenagers, and that makes my hands full, really. if there are mothers over here, they would know. And then I'm a tech entrepreneur, which means that I am running a business which has a tech product. And since I'm an educationist, my partner, Nahyan, did you meet everyone? Okay, so Nahyan is my business partner. And he and I both are educationists. And you know, when we have people, men especially, who are in education and really passionate, Nahyan is one of them, as all of you are. So Nahyan and I have this tech startup, which is about, it deals with career counseling, okay? And I'm not gonna break everything or open everything to you because it will go into the session, the way I'm leading it, it will go into that, it will connect with that. I'm basically a software engineer. I've worked about 10 years in the corporate world, and now you can calculate my age, and then another 10 years in education. And that's where I saw the connection that it's important for professionals to be in the education space if we're talking about disrupting the education sector, right? And then I'm a mentor, I'm a role model for girls. I speak a lot about STEM. How many of you are aware of STEM or STEAM? If you're not aware, that's absolutely fine. I don't expect that you would know, and that's where I get to talk, okay? So STEM and STEAM is basically science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So it's STEAM and STEM used interchangeably, right? So we're going to touch upon that, and that is where my robotics experience comes in. I was a teacher just like any other teacher when I started my journey as a computer teacher at Haq Academy back in 2010. And from there, I evolved into different roles and positions. Creative trendsetter, enabler, my focus is that I enable the young people, the youth. And I enjoy and I'm passionate about working with kids. When I say working with kids, I did not say teaching kids, because I don't teach them. Given the subject that I have and the field that I have, I try to groom them overall. And that's how I explored technology as a subject too. Next, please. So the topic at hand is Edtech, role of Edtech in the future of work. How many of you understand what's Edtech? And remember, if I'm asking questions, that is for me to understand how much you know, and so I can connect well with you and make this session relevant to you. So do you know EdTech or you don't know EdTech?
It's relevant to education, to technology.
Very good. So technology, anything you want to add, or is it the same thing you had to say?
It's the tools that are being used for education. And obviously, they might not be designed for education, or in some cases, but the way they're utilized in education.
Perfect. That's great. Anybody else wants to add to it? Bilkul ji. So technology being used in education in simplest words. Okay, it could be any technology, and this is what I've seen in my experience. I can talk about 3D printing, and I can connect it with education. How do you teach math using that, right? I have had teachers who are using 3D printed models to actually teach math concepts of volume and stuff. And they 3D printed, you know, objects that they showed to the students. So things like that. And that is how it becomes interesting as well. So part of the challenge for me as a teacher, and I'll share with you, was that I never wanted to teach the same topic in the same way to the next batch. So I was not comfortable that, okay, I've devised a syllabus, a lesson plan. I've gotten the syllabus, that's fine. I have a lesson plan, but I don't want to teach it the same way because I will get bored if I have to teach it the same way. Whereas that is defined as comfort zone for a lot of teachers. It is also defined as your experience, right? You have a set way of teaching, and that is your experience for which your students and your school values you, right? But at the same time, since I have a kira in my dimag, I see it as repetition and repetitive stuff, and I want to change it every year as a teacher. So given the computer subject, I think I could do that. But I'll tell you, is there an Urdu teacher over here? Any Urdu teacher? You are. My Urdu teacher actually designed Scrabble. All of us are aware of Scrabble. She made it in Urdu with her Urdu club students. Ab wo bana kaise? Wo is tarah se bana ke she got each and every bit, it was jo letters hote hain, 3D printed. And that way the students were engaged and they played, you know, making words and all of that stuff. That was Urdu, connected with, integrated with 3D printing. Can you imagine? It is making these connections that defines, for me, future of work. So future of work, say, you know, people are scared that jobs will go away, AI will take over, shayad padhane ke liye bhi robots khade honge. You see? So AI, machines, automation will take over the jobs that are repetitive, that can be simplified by logic. आपने एक algorithm लिख दिया, एक program लिख दिया, ये ऐसे होना है, ऐसे होना है, ऐसे होना है. All of that will be digitized. ठीक है? What will not be digitized? Can anybody say that? What will not be digitized or automated? क्या चीज हम नहीं कर सकते automate? And that's okay. Sorry? Human connection. Yes. Yes. Creativity. Anything else that comes to mind? Anything that has to do with human intelligence and cannot be programmed. A program क्या होता है? आपने एक machine को एक code लिख दिया. Exactly. Emotions. Yes. Emotions. And your ability to synthesize information, this cannot be automated. At least abhi tak nahi hai. Lage mein scientists and researchers after the human brain, कि जी हम कुछ कर लें, and they are doing it. Right? I mean, the future looks like where आप अपनी आँख blink करेंगे और आप pages scroll कर रहे होंगे internet पे. That is the future we're looking at, right? And this is the future our kids are going to live in. Right? And when I say our kids, not our kids at home, but at school, right? वो भी हमारे ही बच्चे हैं. At least मैं उनको इसी तरह refer करती हूँ. Our kids are going to see that future. And we don't really know or can't define that future because we don't know how much technology will evolve. Okay? And so in that case, we are preparing our students for the unknown future. It's scary. right? You don't know how the future will look like. Like if I imagine my kids right now, my own kids, and I'm like, acha, ye bade hoke engineer banenge and doctor banenge, and my life is in their hands and stuff, you know? So you're like, you have to prepare them for that. They're playing games. Honestly, my kids are doing that. Either they're watching videos and they're playing games, but they're learning a lot through that as well. My son justified it to me that when he plays games, he develops certain skills. And then he connected it with, you know, so he was doing 3D. He wants to be a mechanical engineer. And this summer, he explored the field of mechanical engineering through a program in the United States, Omni LYF. And they have a career exploration program where they put the kids from high school to university into projects that are real world projects, like companies ke projects honge, automotive industry ke, gaadi design karni hai, bike ka koi part design karna hai, chair ka leg design karna hai, 3D software mein, theek hai? Ab ye usko project mila, he wanted to do that. And then he realized that uske andar even jo 3D software ko control karne ke liye jo commands and mouse ki, all of that he's learned from his game. And he justified it to me. Although wo rozana ki jang hai ki beta aaj itna nahi khelna, aaj abhi band kar do, and this and that. That's, you know, the kahani ghar ghar ki, right? So every mom is at war with their children for that. So this is what I'm saying. So future of work, anything else that comes to your mind regarding future of work that is scary or is good or something you'd like to add? क्या लगता है आपको जब ये बात होती है कि future is changing, the jobs will go away? Do you think teachers' jobs will change in some way? How?
Actually, the point is, human beings must be connected to the technology. It's like always. It's good that AI will come or whatsoever will come, but the thing is, the human activity is very bigger in any field of, you know, any kind of field. I'm not only talking about teaching and such stuff, but yes. Technology will come. There are lots of changes which we are going to face in future. We have, you know, seen lots of changes since 2 years because of this, you know.
Thanks to COVID.
Yeah, we have seen lots of changes over here. But the most important point is you must be a human to, you know, define that AI as well. You know,
absolutely.
You know, a human can, you know, think about those things because it is a human who has made, you know, this AI or such kind of.
Of course.
So obviously, it's not about basically the job, but yes, the task of the human being must be there.
Yes.
Whether it's future or current time or whatsoever.
And that is evolving, right?
Exactly. And
so with that, we have to change as well, right? That is the idea. Can we go next? Okay. Now I have taken this, you know, from the Future of Work website. It is changing. Artificial intelligence, we all know it's robotics and artificially intelligent machines, and automation is the same thing. And it is the same revolution or similar revolution that was there in earlier generations because of when agriculture and manufacturing, Bari revolution and YT. I just want to show you a video over here. Yeah. And see what you absorb from this. Yeah.
This is not humans versus machines. This is humans enabled by machines.
America can choose to reinvest in a larger set of people and places.
The question for employers is how do they think about giving their workers the kind of flexibility that they need?
Yeah. What's your takeaway from this? What would such a future require? In your capacity, in your role, what would it require? Can we have responses from the online participants as well? I mean, can you look at the chat if there's anything? Yeah. So she's saying that she can't see it. Did you share the presentation?
Yeah.
Just check with her. What was she not able to see? Probably the video. You can share the video link with her. So yeah, what questions or concerns pop up in your mind when it comes to a future like this? How will you prepare your students? If I tell you that we're preparing our students for this future, right? What would we change? Will we change? Will that be a problem?
Actually, it is already changed.
Yes, accelerated by COVID, yeah.
It is already changed, but you know, when we are going to talk about tech-related things, so you know, everyone has their own capacity of thinking related to tech.
Right.
So you are thinking about something else. I'm going to think of something else. So obviously, it is really very important that how we going to concentrate on that particular thing according to the mind of the students.
Right.
If we are going to think about them, because obviously they are like, you know, max 16, 17, or if you are going to talk about the A levels, it's like 18. It's like a max age for those kids. And if we are going to compare those kids with our mind, so obviously, you know, our thinking capacity is way too high as compared to them. I'm not saying they are not genius, but yes, exactly. You have to come to those minds, you know, their absorption level of that technology.
Yeah, you have to connect them at their level, right?
And one of the most important thing I always, you know, tell this to my fellows, that you know, you have to add some kind of an entertainment with the thing.
Yeah.
Because you know, after some certain period of time, a video is also getting bored. I mean, you can easily get bored of a video. You don't want to watch it. So you know, if there is something kind of an entertaining. Likewise, when you started this video, the most important thing I like about it is the music. You know, I started moving my hands on that thing. So the thing is, yes, we have to add something with those technological things to make that, you know,
experience relevant and entertaining.
They wanted to see it again. It's not like
observe and then they catch things more easily, other than only the text or there.
Right, right. So the music was overwhelming. Should I play it again for you to focus on what was written? Yeah. G. How many of you actually noticed what was written? Everybody was enjoying the music, which is absolutely fine. I can play it again. It was a short video. But yeah, what other thing? Any point that you remember, apart from the music, that you remember?
So I think it manifests it will make more easier for the people.
Yeah. Will it make your job easy? Will it make teaching easy? Yes. बिल्कुल हर फील्ड बिल्कुल जी बिल्कुल और रोबोट्स उर्दू भी बोलेंगे जी right, that's great. I think that's a very good observation that with every field that they showed, there was a robot, right? There was a machine. And one thing that, any other thing that others noted, just quickly, reimagine and reskill. Thank you for that.
You know how we are going to use this technology to enhance our skills and
Bilkul. And within your role, if you think, what is reskilling for me as a teacher?
Just like we have to switch to online classes.
Exactly. And this is just, you know, the beginning of this. And as I said, COVID has accelerated it. It has put us on spot. Right? हम सारे teachers on spot आ गए ना कि भाई करना है, Zoom की training भी लेनी है, classes भी करनी है. Sorry, you can't live without it. It's not an option; it's the need. It's not a nice to have; it's a must have. Right? It's not a nice to have. You have to. And so within that role, does that scare you? What problems come to your mind? Fine, we have to do it. What problems did you face when you were taking online classes, for example? Internet connection issues, right? Mic nahi chalta. Sorry? Connection with the students, I think was, and this is where a lot of discussion will start. Yes, Ji? Distractions. There you go.
So the fact that a lot of students also are very unwilling to learn something, but do not do something else.
Because
both the classes have different kind of favors. You know, I have heard the code live needs educational favor for some of the students, but at that particular point, in person and online, there is a very big difference.
There is.
When you started to talk to the student in front of you, so obviously you can communicate with them. You can see in their eyes, they can see you. So that is a different kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If you are going to talk about online, so obviously there are lots of distraction which comes over there. So obviously we are facing such stuff. But most importantly, what we have to do is if we wanted to continue with the online, different stuff.
Certainly. Emotional connection. And I really want to touch upon this. So thank you for bringing up this point. I know. So these are issues that are apparently not in your control. But what's in your control? Right. Adaptation. Yeah. I think the attitude towards whatever is changing, being adaptable, thank you for that, and being open to change. आप देखें ये हर स्कूल का मसला होगा that we had to change timetables on the go. Every moment of the past 1.5 to 2 years has been firefighting mode for the teachers and the schools, right? Ab ye karna, ab ye training and all. One thing that I have really found, and thank you, Sabine, for being with us online. Yes, one-to-one interaction with the weak students. I don't term them as weak students. They are students who are different. So you must have heard the term differently abled persons. I would term them as that. I don't call it weak. या आप इंटरव्यू में जाते हैं कभी जब वो पूछते हैं आपके strengths क्या आपके weaknesses क्या? Well, there are no weaknesses. There are areas to improve. So you give a positive connotation to that, right? You see it positively. There are areas of improvement. They're not my weakness. When I say weak students, I have labeled them. And we as educators and teachers cannot label the students as weak, because वो weak student सुन के बच्चे भी they start believing अच्छा मैं weak student ही. So why should I work hard? So in my experience, since I started as a computer teacher, I would see the weak students in the class actually enjoying in computers and scoring A stars and A's, doing projects, creative, all of that. And this was true for computers and art. ये दो subject थे और हम दो teachers होती थी. And we used to discuss कि यार ये math, English में classroom से complain आ रही है उन बच्चों की. Those kids are amazing in our classes. Again, that tells you something. And that is where I connected my own teaching and what I was teaching, like computers, and बाद में I introduced robotics. And the kids, these were the kids who wanted to learn in a hands-on way. Because they were creative. They would not only understand from the books. Thanks, Kamal. And fair assessment of students. I'm going to come to the assessment part because that has been a challenge as well in the online world. But again, there are other ways of assessment as well. And that is what we have to look into. So I will touch upon those things. I have another video to play. That's a 2.5 minute. If you're sleeping, let me know. Okay? I will stop the video and ask questions. All right. So ye chat window band kar dein, please.
COVID-19 is one of the biggest crises of our time.
Can we full screen it? Oh, wow. Yeah. I will quiz you after this. So you have to stay awake.
COVID-19 is one of the biggest crises of our time. It has impacted every single one of us, shaken our social systems, and disrupted every sector of our economies. The automation of work, combined with a global recession, led workers to lose their jobs at an accelerated pace compared to previous years. And this trend is expected to continue. The ongoing shift in the division of labor between humans, machines, and algorithms might displace 85 million jobs worldwide in the next 5 years, while 97 million new roles, ones that are more adapted to this new task distribution, may emerge. By 2025, companies expect to displace roughly 6% of their total workforce. 1 in 2 workers will need reskilling, and those remaining in their current roles will need to update 40% of their skill set to adapt to the changing labor market. There is a way to collectively benefit from these challenging times. Decades of research have shown that the most valuable asset of any economy or company is its human capital. Around the globe, companies are already experiencing a shortage in relevant skills for future roles and are investing in reskilling and upskilling their workforce. By 2025, organizations say they will train over 70% of their employees to ensure they can smoothly transition into the jobs of tomorrow. These include DevOps engineers, artificial intelligence specialists, digital marketing managers, talent acquisition specialists, and customer success specialists. It will take on average between 2 weeks and 5 months for workers to pick up new skills, allowing them to move into these new roles. But data shows they won't need to have the perfect skill set to start transitioning. While 2/3 of employers expect to get a return on investment in employees' reskilling programs within just 1 year, governments will also need to step in to update and fund education and training systems and to ensure displaced workers have adequate safety nets. With purposeful leadership and collaboration, we can turn this global crisis into a unique opportunity to transition into a future of jobs that is inclusive, fair, and sustainable.
This wasn't a lot of music. Yes, takeaways. What did you take away from this one? Yeah.
Basically, there is clear that a lot of rules are, but it's not like this jobs are going away 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So, in terms of improving consequences.
Yeah. So skills. Okay. Skills. Yes.
It's not about actually getting AI rather than
AI is AI. It's not scary. It doesn't look scary.
It looks scary. But that should not be a concern rather than the foundation.
I really appreciate the point where you said that it's the fear of reskilling, which means that we as humans are not comfortable with change. And that is where your point comes in, adaptation, right? We're not comfortable with change. We don't want to change. And let's be honest, and I'm a teacher myself when I say this, teachers live in their comfort zones. 25 years of experience, I know what I'm doing, man. Don't even dare talk to me, right? Let's be honest. This is the fear. As long as we're open to change, and I'm not saying only teachers, it's as humans, we're not comfortable with change. The moment we're open, and how we are open, this is the safe space that we create. Like I told you, there is no wrong or right answer. You say whatever you want. That's your thought process. I'm not judging you, right? Then you immediately become comfortable. I can voice my concern. I can say whatever I want to say. She's not going to judge me. I'm not going to say, "Acha, aapko ye nahi pata AI kya hai?" I'm an Urdu teacher, dude. Why would I know what's AI? Okay. So the thing is that in terms of future of work and skills ki jo baat aayi, skills are important. And the only skills that we're focusing on is probably reading, writing. I don't know if we focus on observation, analysis. Have you heard your students saying, sorry? अच्छा, अब ये आप social sciences में भी कर सकते हैं, आप humanities में भी कर सकते हैं, आपकी skills देखें. Critical thinking, क्या चीज़ है ये? Logical thinking, critical thinking. What is this? There are courses जो हम जैसे there are quite a few institutes जो अब robotics और ये सब पढ़ाते हैं, आपने सुना होगा. Logical thinking, analysis, observation, recording observation and stuff like that. I'm sure you've heard it from your students, and I hear it from students and from my own kids. oh ये easy है तो कर लेते हैं, ठीक है? Something if it's easy, या subject selection के time पे that subject is easy, so I'm going to take it. And scoring, वो scoring वाला तो हम ही ने डाला है. मैं कहती हूँ हमारे colleges में क्योंकि grades चाहिए हैं, I think this is what we have done, right? Right? So less effort. Less effort. क्यों भाई? Like my daughter doesn't like to read. But both of my kids don't like to read. And they're like, notes bhi agar lene, so they're like, oh, okay, I am making mental notes and stuff like that, right? People don't take notes. So anything that requires observation, thought, kids don't want to do that. And even in engineering degree, आपको final year project करना है, you have to make a thesis, masters कर रहे हैं तो आपको करना है, observation, analysis. These are the skills that come from subjects like your languages, English, Urdu, history, all of these. Ab history mein, if you're teaching O-level history, yeah, even Islamiyat mein, what do you have to do? Analyze karna. You have to put your own point of view, right? How do you do that? This is the skill we need to develop in those early years. Or hum school ko kyun target karte hain? That's a grassroots level, right? So the two directions that I feel schools need to take or should take is reskilling and upskilling of teachers. Until the teachers are on board, kuch nahi hoga. Principal, coordinators, kya kar lenge? Hardly kitne, 4-5 log honge, 10 log honge. It's a huge school. They can't. So the teacher has to have intrinsic motivation of doing better for the students. This is where it will start. The other is we cannot teach anything else to the students apart from teaching them how to learn. And I also add to it, and that's my personal, based on my personal experience, how to self-learn. Miss ne ye nahi karaya, to mujhe nahi aata. I was at, I should not name the university, I'm sorry. I was at a university and so this is my Islamia teacher, I've known her, Nadia. Okay, so I was at a university and the guy was in 3rd year of university and I was talking to him and I was like, have you thought about internships? Wo agle semester mein karenge. I'm like, what? Agle semester mein, who has stopped you from doing internships? And he's like, no, the teacher or the faculty or the professor will tell us what to do. And then the other thing, which is great, I don't know, but the final year projects are given by the professors. Students don't come up with ideas. I'm a final year projects evaluator for 2 universities. And mere 2 sawal hote hain whenever I go and observe and judge, evaluate their projects. One is, how many man hours did you put in to this project? And the students are not able to answer. Haan, 6 mahine lage the, nahi 4 mahine lage the. How many people worked on it? Wo to pata, but how many man hours did you put in? And the other is, whose project idea is this? Oh, my professor told me.
To answer this, actually, I feel that I completely agree with you on this stuff. But this comes from how the creativity in students in the very early ages is killed often.
Yeah.
By sometimes the school, sometimes their own.
The overall system as well. It's not the teachers only. Yeah.
Is that creativity still from the very beginning?
Yeah, yeah.
When they reach that level, they don't know how to work themselves. That's an issue that I have.
And that's when we start worrying about projects kar le, ab creativity build kar le, ab presentation skills ka pura ek semester mein course hota hai. Why can't you pitch yourself? And so since I had the senior school, I have this experience of students going on to colleges, appearing for interviews, not being able to pitch themselves. What is pitching yourself? Being able to tell who you are. Being able to tell your story. Why do you want to pursue a certain career? Tell me your story. Where are you coming from? What have you done? How do you see your aptitude? Kids cannot talk, right? Okay, let's move on. Let's first check the chat. Very good, Kamal. Thank you very much. So yeah, she's an art teacher and I think observation is a skill that all of us can teach. All of us can teach whatever subjects we're teaching, right? Okay, let's move on. All right. Yes. And now you can turn off the chat window for a while. G. I'm sorry, bhai, मैं आपको बहुत तंग कर रही हूँ. ये off, ये on. Okay. Conditions to be fostered in the learning environment. And I'm gonna talk about yeah, you, Gulro. That's you. So what do we want in our learning environment? Dedicating time for creative projects. As a teacher, when I designed my first lesson plan, how many of you are? Is there anybody from the computer department, computer teacher? Anybody? No? Okay. So when I designed my first lesson plan after getting this training from my coordinator at that time, it took me 4 or 5 hours to answer the question why a 6th grader needs to learn about databases. Database is a concept. Okay. Why a 6th grader needs to learn about it. How can I create their interest? जैसे आपने कहा ना कि entertainment चाहिए बच्चों को, gamified experiences चाहिए if you want to grab their attention, right? To teach them, right? It took me 4 to 5 hours. एक lesson plan. आप सोचेंगे कितनी निकम्मी खातून है ये. ना इतना इनको time लगा. But yeah, I was not coming from the teaching background, right? So why? Because I could not connect कि मैं ये क्यों पढ़ा रही हूँ? Because ये syllabus में है. अब syllabus में भी मैंने डाला है, right? Why am I teaching it? Then I connected it to the whole. उस वक्त जब मैं पढ़ा रही थी Pizza Hut delivery system पूरा मैंने बनवाया उनसे, and I gave them the whole concept कि आपके pizza deliver कैसे होते हैं. When you call them, they say, hello, Ms. Zartaj, and all of that. How is your information saved with them? That is a database. Today, we have more examples of databases, right? This is how it works. So again, अगर आपकी अपनी वो है ना, आप अगर emerging technology या कोई भी एक channel subscribe कर लें, YouTube पे, Twitter पे, whatever social media you're on, वो खुद आपको सारी वो भेज रहे होते हैं कि you stay updated. So coming up with creative projects is one thing. And अगर आप एक term में एक project भी कर लें, the kids are going to love you for that. And that one project, वो आप इस तरह से plan करें that you sort of incorporate everything that you've taught. If not everything, most of the things. Think of projects. There are so many ideas for every subject on the internet. Internet should be your best buddy, by the way. Rewarding innovation and divergent ideas. What do you mean by divergent ideas? Any thoughts? Be it wrong. Share your thoughts. Chat pe hum dekh lein. Sabine, aap bataiye what are divergent ideas? And Sabine is a computer teacher. Yes, so if you can tell us what are divergent ideas. Anyone? Any thoughts? Be it wrong. Yes. Yes, close. Thinking out of the box. Very good, very close. So there are 2 kinds of thinking. Divergent thinking and convergent thinking. Yeah, so I just did this, okay? Divergent thinking, which is broader, open-minded. When you're brainstorming, you're doing divergent thinking. आप जो ideas आ रहे हैं फजूल भी हैं, just jot it down, jot it down. बिल्कुल, different perspectives, right? And so this is a design thinking concept, but मैं आपको बता रही हूँ कि मेरे पास जितनी भी सारी चीजें हैं ना, I have been incorporating it into teaching. मेरा software engineering का background, trust me, when I keep things, मैं कपड़े भी तय करके रखती हूँ, so I think about retrieval. Database का concept है कि when you place something, where will you go to look for it? So you put it over there, right? When I create a file on the computer, I name it such that I will find it with this name. So if I'm creating a presentation, आप इस file का नाम देख लें, वो यही होगा जी CSTEC.live future of work Zartaj. And then I also thought कि अगर मैं ये किसी third person को दूंगी और उसके पास 10 presentations हैं, how would he identify कि ये Zartaj की कौन सी है? So I put my name there. You see, thinking about retrievals. What I'm trying to say is, I studied software engineering. I never knew I'll be a teacher. And then I never knew how will I apply it when I'm folding my laundry. But yeah, sure. So yeah. And then so divergent ideas is welcome those ideas. Let your students go wild with ideas. Jot them down. And then convergent thinking is when you start narrowing it down to focus on something. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. आप लोग बोर हो रहे हैं तो बता दीजिएगा, हम फिर कुछ और बातें करेंगे. Empowering teachers and students to make decisions. Let your students make decisions. Trust me, मेरे पास या तो subjects ऐसे रहे, but मैं ये सोचती हूँ कि if I was teaching other subjects as well, I would do the same thing. I would let my students, and you know, my students who I train for robotics, so I teach robotics as well, and I take teams from Pakistan to participate in international competitions. And I'm an international judge for robotics as well. So what I do is I facilitate them. I don't give them answers. And my own kids think that I don't know robotics, but I teach it. And they're like, Mom, you don't teach, but you make us work. They don't understand that I am, you know, developing certain skills for them to self-learn. And then also teachers are also scared. So when I started teaching robotics, nobody was doing it in Pakistan. I did not get any formal training. What I knew was that internet was my best friend. I researched on it, got stuff and started it. And the kids, I was learning with them. And that is what I said to the kids. We're all learning together. The teacher is not supposed to be the one person knowing everything. It's probably Google, okay, that knows everything. Bas aap Urdu translation wahan se nahi kar sakte. Allowing for failure, and this I feel is very, very important. How many of you know what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship. Business. Business plan. You should know. Ownership. Yeah. So entrepreneurship, or an entrepreneur, is a person who's a businessman or woman. Entrepreneurship is doing business. Okay? Entrepreneurial mindset. The already twisted word, मुंह ही टेढ़ा हो जाए. Entrepreneurial mindset कहते हैं कि बच्चों में develop करना चाहिए. क्यों? आप entrepreneurship में या business में क्या सीखते हैं? How to run your business, how to manage money, finances, how to arrange for resources even without money. Risk taking, absolutely. So this is what you're teaching. And in entrepreneurship, you cannot grow until you fail. Failure is a growth tactic. That's what I say. I've learned it by experience that failure is a growth tactic. Until you fail, you will not know what did not work. Learn from skills and trying it out. And so all of those who are science teachers would agree with me that it's a hands-on and a practical subject, right? And unfortunately, we don't let our kids go to the lab before they're in grade 9. Unfortunately, O-levels mein to grade 9, 10 mein bhi khatam hi ho gaya practical. We're teaching ATP, right? And that's sad. So allowing for failure is, yes, I do advocate for that. And my son goes like, if I come to you with an F, don't complain then, because this is what you advocate for. And I was like, that's difficult, but yeah. And then measuring what matters most. हमारे पास सिर्फ एक ही measure है जो हम करते हैं of learning. What is it? हम label कर देते हैं, and we all as educators believe that in one moment, in those 2.5 hours or 4 hours, you are assessing or judging a student for their entire 3 years if we consider O-level for certain subjects, right? Which is not right. And so then something needs to change. Thank you, Kuratulan, for that. Yes, but if the system is not changing, तो क्या करेंगे आप? अभी मेरा ये भी सवाल है. मैं भी आपकी तरह teacher हूँ. I know the system doesn't change. So I took advantage of all the opportunity that I had. भाई आगे चलिएगा. अच्छा मुझे उस पे, हाँ जी, यहाँ पे रोक लें and मुझे chat पे दिखा दें. There was something up if you can scroll up. Thought process to generate, थोड़ा सा, जी, thought process to generate many solutions. A person who sets up a business is an entrepreneur. Yes, Sabine, thank you for that. And true failure is a way to success. True. We as parents also need to sort of, understand that. Okay, so now what do we do? Project-based learning, आप लोगों ने सुना है? क्या है ये? क्यों है ये? Hands-on. What do you do in project-based learning? Yes. Independent learning, yes. Yeah, but they know it. Yeah.
But since I'm a math teacher, so a lot of concepts that we teach and the students end up asking, why do we need it?
Yes.
So using project-based learning, I think it helps them understand.
Yeah. So if you're learning math, you can end up being a data scientist. And data is the most valuable commodity of this time, right? People are selling data. Facebook क्या कर रहा है? ये जितने भी हैं, Amazon और ये सारे, they all have data and they are, what they're doing, right? So
Project-based learning, we develop 4 C's: communication, collaboration.
Yes, there are 2 other C's. Good.
Creativity.
Yes. And those are the skills you want to build, right? Project-based learning is putting them in a situation. How many of you have faced a situation where you put the kids in a group and they're like, Miss, I don't want to be with this kid. Huh? Please change my group. Falana is not working and I'm the only one working. Does it resonate with you? Does it sound familiar, right? What is this? These are the skills we're developing. You like it or not, you have to get along with that person to achieve the objective of the group, which is the project. हाँ ये मेरा दोस्त नहीं है, वो चाहते हैं कि बस जिंदगी भर का साथ बन जाए group project करके, right? So skills to work independently. So if you're doing independent work and collaborative work. Yes. Right. Good question.
Sometimes you give them, let's randomly assume that I've given them a project. You want a solar system. I want to get a variety of planets designed in different ways. Creativity is there. Where is the learning? The same planets, named the same way, just presented in different ways. Where is the learning? I mean, if you give them a topic, you start the topic, you've got the concept right, you question them, you quiz them, you tested them. Now you need to give them that opportunity, that freedom. कि आप ये चीज सीखी है, खुद से apply करते हैं.
Yeah.
That is what project-based learning
should be. It is that. We're not doing it that way.
Getting them ready to face the challenge.
Exactly.
Tomorrow that situation will change. अब वो कहेंगे
मिस ने तो ऐसे नहीं बताया था. That's true. That's true. Yes.
Your take on project-based learning?
Okay. Now there are different factors into play. ठीक है? Project-based learning आप ऐसे ही नहीं दे देते project भर के लिए. You have to prepare them. You have to guide them. As to ये काम होगा कैसे? जैसे आपने कहा कि हमने उन्हें planets के बारे में पढ़ा दिया. There has to be an open-ended question that they sort of answer. जी. सीखते हैं. Basically what they're trying to do is problem solve. जो आपका सवाल है, I think problem solving is something that you have to teach. जब तक problem ही नहीं आएगा तो उसे solve कैसे करना सिखाएंगे. अच्छा, एक और design thinking का concept है that actually talks about problem solving in a manner. And I participated in this competition. When you frame the problem, frame it in a solution-oriented way. For example, we have waste management issues across Karachi. Because हमारी सड़कें खराब हैं सब हैं. Now this is telling the problem and discussing the problem. A solution-oriented approach would be, and that is called HMW. How might we? How might we clean the city. You see, rather than saying there is garbage on the roads. And when you're giving that sort of a project to students, you give them an HMW statement. How might we do this? And this sort of puts them in a situation where they have to solve a problem. Okay? So in terms of discovery that you pointed out, discovery may be yeah. Don't give them answers. Let them explore. Let them explore. As long as it's safe, obviously. Okay? Yeah, introducing the concept or a topic. Yeah, I agree. So if you introduce a new concept and you give them, such a statement, again, something to think about, not exactly giving them an answer. So project-based learning is very broad. And आपका जो सवाल है कि घर के लिए दें, उन्हें एक guided वो दें, उन्हें एक rubric भी दें साथ में. Project-based learning के at home, again how it's managed. बात वही है ना, क्योंकि पेरेंट्स भी इन्वॉल्व हो जाते हैं. अब आप पेरेंट्स को तो ट्रेन नहीं कर रहे, राइट? दैट्स अ कंप्लीट सेपरेट डिस्कशन. एक और घंटा रख के फिर मैं आऊंगी उसके लिए. बट यस, but if it is guided and all, these issues come because obviously teachers को तो हम ट्रेन कर रहे हैं, but घर पे पेरेंट्स भी हैं, तो घर पे देने का, yes, because then you as a teacher have to observe. I know where you're coming from. जी next, मैं अब जल्दी करूँ. I think I'm eating up someone's time. Artificial intelligence के बारे में पढ़ना, again there are many courses, free courses are also available. अगर आप for some reason किसी भी तरह science math का मुझे पता है that you can embed it very easily. Try and look for ways because जितनी भी coding है उसके अंदर math तो जरूर apply होती है. So you see math or science or engineering, and that is why STEM जो acronym बना है, it's blended learning of all these subjects. ये नहीं है कि मैंने physics में ये पढ़ा है और मैं math में ये पढ़ रहा हूँ और वो अलग-अलग है. There's an overlap, and as long as you can make your students see that overlap and design a project that connects both subjects, that is where the real world connection comes in, and they will not ask you कि sir मैं math क्यों पढ़ रहा हूँ. I used to ask that to my parents and to my teachers. I was not a good student at all. Maker education and coding, ये कुछ terms हैं जो आपको मैं दे रही हूँ. Maker, मैं Indonesia गई थी to a school, and over there when I entered their lab, and it was a maker lab, there was a group of grade 5 and 6 kids sitting around a fire extinguisher, and it was open. And they were talking about how does it look like from inside, and then the whole lab, the way it looked was वहाँ पे plumbing भी वो सिखा रहे हैं, woodwork भी सिखा रहे हैं. Drilling, class 5 का बच्चा drilling, imagine. Because the kid in my robotics session, I was conducting a robotics session, he said, "Okay, miss, this doesn't have this hole. Can I go to the lab and drill it?" And I was like, "Do you have the permission to drill it?" And I freaked out, and then they showed me their maker lab. This is what we need. Like आज मैं अगर अपने बेटे को बोलती हूँ कि बेटा मेरे लिए नाश्ता बना दो, तो वो मुझे यूं देखता है. शुरू में देखता था, अब तो मैंने उसकी आदत डाल दी है कि मम्मा भी लेट हो सकती हैं. And you being a boy doesn't mean कि आप बहन को बोलोगे या मम्मा को बोलोगे, so you have to do it. So yes, I run late and my kids make breakfast for me. So maker education is where, again, they're using their hands, they're doing stuff. Coding, math से बहुत अच्छा connect होता है. आप अगर math पढ़ाते हैं, science पढ़ाते हैं, मैं तो उर्दू को भी कनेक्ट कर सकती हूँ. आपको मैंने बताया 3D प्रिंटिंग से किस तरह. आप टेक्नोलॉजी खुद एक्सप्लोर करें as teachers and discuss it. Like at Huck Academy, I remember we did a project where it was art and history की integration. अब art में उन्हें कुछ चीजें बनाने के लिए चाहिए, right? कुछ तो करना है, paint करना है, sketch करना है. History के teacher was teaching a unit on something I don't remember, and then she said that I want them to draw this or paint this. And they did that in the art class. Simple integrations of subjects. And this is what blended learning brings in, right? Yes, next. Place-based learning. एक चीज जो, one concept that COVID के बीच में हमें ज़्यादा social emotional learning का हमें बहुत ज़्यादा हुआ. This is something that we need to, empathy. We need to develop empathy. Putting yourself in other person's shoes. आजकल के बच्चों में नहीं है. बड़ों में भी नहीं है. courtesy, empathy. You must have noticed, सुबह में आप जाएं बच्चे कोई greet नहीं करते. There are very few kids who greet you in the morning. ठीक है, मुझे नहीं पता आप लोगों के schools में क्या है, but I do see this. ठीक, developing that, and so learning that is contextualized within your culture. So you understand the cultural context at a certain, in a certain area, in a certain geographical location, and empathize with that. And that helps you understand cultural differences as well, right? And respect cultural differences. मैं international competitions में जाती हूँ, वहाँ पे दूसरे तरह के भी cultures आए हुए होते हैं. How do you respect that? You don't make fun of them, right? So teaching all of this and making it part of your teaching. Again, through project-based learning, all of this can happen. Rana, thank you for that. Project-based learning is a dynamic classroom exploration of real-world challenges and problems. Yes, this is exactly what we're discussing. And I think I'm towards the entrepreneurial skills I have discussed. Gig economy, किसने सुना? आप चैंपियन है, अब आप यहाँ आके प्रेजेंटेशन दें. Gig economy. Gig economy क्या है? So gig economy is small jobs. You must have heard Fiverr, Upwork, freelancing. Short, small jobs that kids are doing online. Social media का काम है, 2 हफ्ते के लिए internship कर ली, किसी के लिए promotion कर दी. All of that, kids are doing that. Kids are making videos, posts, Facebook posts, artwork कर रहे हैं, Canva पे, किसी भी चीज पे, tools सीख रहे हैं. This is gig economy that is coming up. Permanent jobs are going to go away. Employers are going to hire for smaller jobs. वो करें आप और खत्म. बच्चों के लिए इसमें what is the advantage? They can do these. Winter holidays आ रही हैं, 2 हफ्ते की हैं. I told my son, you have to get an internship somewhere and do something. So gig economy के लिए how do you prepare? There's a website called digiskills.pk जहाँ पे free courses हैं about freelancing, about stuff, and I know it because I'm part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, startup ecosystem. वहाँ से बहुत सारी चीजें पता चलती हैं. Freelancing की जो skills हैं वो teachers के लिए भी बहुत अच्छे courses हैं. So you get to understand how do you develop. आप presentations बनाते हैं, right? Rubric बना रहे हैं, कुछ भी बना रहे हैं, you know, anything for your worksheet बना रहे हैं, let's say. Use Canva. Canva is a very good tool. So things like that, like go through resources that are available. Let's move on. Okay, so we have a quick little survey. Shouldn't take a lot of time. I tried not to put questions that require your, so you guys have your phones on you. I'm sure you do. Just go on to this link. I think it is case sensitive, which means whatever is capital, you have to put it that way, and whatever is small, do it that way. And then I'm going to introduce you to one more thing, and then you guys can leave. Oh yes, I don't know if these guys can give you. आप internet access दे सकते हैं? Try it. If it's not stopping you. Is anybody able to open it? Yes. खुल गया ना?
Yes, yes.
What are you doing, Mr. Iman? Shouldn't. It's a Google form. Shouldn't. Oh, for the Wi-Fi. And there are no right and wrong answers. So just answer freely. I haven't even asked your names if that's that. I just want to see how people think, and that's it. Don't want to know who thinks what, but generally how educators and people think. If you're having any difficulty, let me know, I'll help you out. Just Chrome पे जाके browser में just type this in. Should I type it for you? All right. एक slide आगे लेके जाते हैं. And online folks, do you have access to the survey? हाँ जी, बस वापस आ जाओ. Chat पे चले जाइए, please. Okay. Yes, you guys have access to the survey. So if you can fill out the survey, that would be great. I'd be very, very grateful. So I'm just having a survey filled up and I need 5 minutes for it. I'm sorry for eating up the next time.
Just have a request. We have Ms. Sabina Khatri at 4:15. So you can have some tea and then maybe come back over here.
Oh my God, I'm eating up their tea time.
The tea's right here. So
Yeah, you're tempting us to finish the session.
can we give you the sheet in the meanwhile?
Sure, sure.
So thank you, Mr. Zartaj.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
She's really busy, so we are very thankful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Okay, are we done with the survey? I'm not done yet, Kamal. You're not leaving, okay? I still have one more thing to show you. How many are done? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate the participation of the online people. They're few, but your input has been valuable, and thank you for keeping, for engaging with me through the chat. That's great. Okay, next slide. So you can complete that survey. I'm just going to show you one more thing. So where I come from, I am representing QriosityNet.com. This is simply LinkedIn for students. How many of you know what's LinkedIn? Okay, so quite a good number. LinkedIn is basically Facebook for business for professionals. Okay, so I'm putting it that way for those of you who don't know it. And we have made LinkedIn for students. Now, why LinkedIn for students? Because LinkedIn, if you look at the platform, is more for professionals, experienced people. Now, when we talk about students' experiences, imagine a child who's going for a college interview and has to collect all of his certificates and reports. So mil jati hain, certificates bhi mil jate hain. What is lost in between is their experience of debate. Kahin pe ki, they won. None of the school is giving them that written down in their report. Maybe a certificate was there, maybe it was not there. How do you collect all of that experience that has shaped a student into a person that they are? So all of that, they create a profile on it. And you can go and check this out and have your students sign up for this. And if there's feedback, do give me that. This is a student-centered platform where they put down all their experience as they go ahead. For schools, what is it? For schools, they can see my graduating class. Where is it after 5 years? Where are they? Where are they working? What are they doing? What are they earning? Even their salaries, as long as the students are updating their data. So alumni ki puri aapki management iske andar aa jati. So this is basically, and what we're doing is where we said tech, the part that is tech, it is a tech product. It is blockchain based. What we're building into it is verified credentials. Blockchain ek thoda sa complex concept hai, but it is verification online on blockchain. So आपके ये जो attestation की requirement होती है ना कि जाओ भाई ये attest करा के ले आओ, वो attest करा के ले आओ, form submission, that will all be done online. Smart contracts आ गए हैं, blockchain is a concept, is a reality. People are working on it. Just like बहुत देर से पहले internet was like something कि पता नहीं क्या चीज़ है, right? So that's how blockchain is. Explore it. Let me know. Reach out to me. I think my email address should be on the thing that you've gotten. Reach out to me if you want me to come to your school and give an orientation on CuriosityNet for your students. This is the platform that is, for the students, and they will find great value in this. They can find internships, jobs, scholarships later on for future admissions. All of these opportunities are posted on it. So internship doesn't have to be done when you are out of your university. You can do it even in high school. And that is how you develop skills. So with that, I would end my session. Any questions? I can take it over there. I won't stop you from having your tea because you have another session with Sabina. Thank you very much for being patient and being here. Thank you.